to the Glow Studio podcast. My name is Emma.
And I'm Amelia.
We've been working in the wedding industry for many years. We've done hundreds, or had the amazing opportunity to do hundreds and hundreds of weddings for brides within the Southeast Queensland region. And we wanted to just start with episode 1 about you're engaged and now what? You know, what does the navigating the wedding priorities look like? So, we thought we would start at the beginning because, you just got engaged. Exciting. Congratulations.
Very
Woohoo.
congratulations.
Fantastic. Yes. And our goal, I suppose, is as we are hair and makeup artists, we are an integral part of your wedding day. But Amelia and I come from a service background, so we want you to have fun. We want you to really enjoy everything and be in the moment. And, I've been married twice. Amelia's, been married once, but we've had very, very different weddings, and working in the wedding industry has allowed us to sort of understand a little bit about where to start, because it can feel really daunting.
Really overwhelming.
Yeah.
Really overwhelming. And I'm a bit of a hectic planner, so I think I pretty much planned all of your wedding about.
Pretty much both of them, and then your own, yes?
Yes.
Probably many others.
Yes. So I sort of have a rough idea from a DIY perspective as to what to do, and just some hot tips that I've learned along the way. So we want you to obviously have fun on your wedding day, and what's the best way to do that is to define what's important to you.
Absolutely.
And not just to you as a bride, but you and your partner.
Yeah.
So my first recommendation is to actually sit down and go, okay, we're engaged. Let's start prioritizing. What's important to us? What makes us unique as a couple? Are you really into cars? Are you sporty? Are you foodies? Do you love a really nice wine, or do you love some cocktails?
Are you musicians?
Yep. Do you love would you want a live band? Like, sort of write down some of those big things and then prioritize them in importance levels.
That's right.
So that
where do you want to spend your money almost?
Exactly.
Because we all know weddings are extortionately expensive. So don't just let Instagram kind of plan your wedding for you, because we can get really whipped up with that Pinterest and Instagram and looking at everyone's amazing photos and things. But it's really important to bring it back to yourself. And even I think I can testify to that. Like my first wedding when I was much, much younger. And I feel like looking back at it that wedding wasn't overly me. I thought I kind of knew what I wanted, but I kind of I think I got a little carried away with the Pinterest and the Instagram stuff. So, and in hindsight, I kind of regret a little bit about how certain things went down that day. So I think it's really important to, you can spend a lot of money, but let's prioritize those costs and where to even start with those first big ticket items.
Yes, exactly. And one of the first things that you're going to have to do is pick a date, which sounds super simple.
Sounds simple,
but a couple of things that people sort of forget to consider when they're picking a date is, okay, one, weather.
Yes.
Are you a super sweaty person? Do you hate the heat? Don't get married in January.
No.
Especially in Queensland. But pick a season that's going to suit you and reflect you as a couple.
Yeah.
Some couples are real beachy sort of people.
Yep.
Great. Summer wedding, no dramas. That's a great reflection of you as a couple.
Yeah.
But if you're anything like my husband, who can't go out in the sun, or we joke that he gets a tan in the moon, or he could not be in the sun. I had a January wedding. Probably in hindsight, probably not the best.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Poor thing had to sweat, and we had to avoid the sun and all that sort of stuff. So it's just thinking about those little things. Same thing with...
I think a lot of people think that, I'm getting married, I must get married in September, October.
Yes.
You can get married any time of the year. Any time of the year. And often outside of those peak times, the cost comes down considerably as well. Vendors are much easier to locate, or some of your favourite vendors that you might have had an eye on, potentially us as your hair and makeup artist, other vendors.
They're actually free.
They could be actually free. So don't just think that you must get married in September, because I did that. First time around, I honestly thought September was the month, and that's the only month you sort of got married in, if sputs or coconuts, and it's not really the case.
No.
We do weddings all year round, 365 days a year.
And midday weddings. Midweek weddings.
Midweek weddings. You
Yes.
save a fortune on a midweek.
Fortune.
And people are happy to take the day off work. You say, I've got to take the day off work to go to a wedding. Well, boss is going to say no.
Exactly. And if they don't want to come because they have to work, then...
You don't want them there anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and the peak times is that September?
October would be your number one peak time, and then your secondary peak would be March to April to May. That's sort of, where it's a little bit
We're
cooler.
coming from Queensland, so it's quite hot here.
Yeah,
so
it's quite hot
generally
most times,
people don't really get, unless you're crazy like me, generally people don't really get married over that December, January time.
It's
You've
less
got Christmas, it's very humid, all that sort of stuff.
Money's tight at that time of year. People are usually paying off credit card bills after Christmas, and it's a lot. Yeah, so generally, I would say December, January would be our quietest months historically for weddings.
Yeah,
but then they easily pick back up in February. Easily.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you're picking a date, consider the weather, peak times, whether you'd want to make, maybe we do have a midweek wedding so we save some money. Or are you the sort of person that's like, I need to have this purple Richmond orchid in my bouquet? Okay, so you're going to have to call the florist and make sure those are in season.
Yes, flowers are
and
seasonal.
then you may need to book your wedding around that. So if that's something that's really high
important,
up on that priority list.
If you are a flower lover.
Yeah, and you want them, you're going to be devastated if you find out that they're not in season. Because some of those flowers, you can't get them all year round.
No, that's
it doesn't work like that. They can't make the weather change to grow flowers.
Exactly, for your wedding. Yeah, 100%. As much as we would like it to be.
Yeah. Or if it's not as important, then you'd be willing to compromise and then change the date.
I just want a purple flower. It doesn't have to be that particular one, whatever it might be. Yeah, I think that's a really good one. And the other thing too is considering, moving on to after you picked a date, you would generally start thinking about venues. Probably be your next big one. And then also considering the weather and the venue. So if you've got your heart set on an island wedding, or we do a lot of weddings over at beautiful Tangalooma Island, and you want an island or a beach wedding, but you also are going to have a wedding in end of November or early December, when we know we are historically renowned for thunderstorms in that time. Maybe you don't want to have an outdoor wedding in a season where it is there you're likely to have those sorts of issues. So whereas if it was winter, it might be a little bit colder on the beach, but the chances of a thunderstorm happening outside are lower. So it's those sorts of things, really. Yeah.
Just taking an overall approach.
That's right.
And really nutting out those priorities will take that stress away.
Absolutely.
And then the next thing really is, okay, am I going to plan this myself, or am I going to get a wedding planner? What does that look like?
That's right.
And to answer that question, my question would be, how organised are you?
Absolutely. That would be, big one. For you, you would tell a wedding planner what to do.
Yeah.
Like, really. Exactly. And Amelia is my wedding planner. She's got good practice at it now. So if you are an organised person and you love taking control, like love, you thrive
you want to be
on
involved,
it, like meals,
all of that sort of stuff.
Then definitely do it yourself. If you love making spreadsheets, you enjoy that, go for it. If you find that you are a little bit more chaotic, well, not even chaotic in nature, but if you're a little bit like me, and you're a monkey with a shiny ball, as I say, and you kind of, oh, well, what about this and what about that? Then maybe a wedding planner would be good. We work with one in particular who you can find that on our website, the Organised Bride, Taryn Fuel Love. Shout out to her. She is amazing. Previous client of ours. Fantastic wedding planner, all over it. Really listens to what your style is and what you want. So hit her up if you do want a wedding planner. Highly recommend Taryn. But otherwise, there's plenty of other amazing planners out there. Every single one of them who I've met has been an absolute delight to work with. Yep. And I can honestly say, hand on heart, if clients have a wedding planner, I get excited. I'm like, man, that day is just going to flow easy.
It's going to be lovely.
It is going to be awesome.
Fun. It's going to be nice.
Because everything is thought about.
Yeah.
But it's not an absolute. It really depends on you as a person, and also your network around you as well. Like I did DIY weddings because I had this as my best friend. Why wouldn't I? But if you don't have that, if you're all kind of a little bit like me and you're all a little bit chaotic and you're not great at making lists, then maybe, having a wedding planner I think is worth their weight in gold, in my opinion. Yeah,
100%.
Definitely worth their weight in gold.
And with all of these things, a common language that you'll hear us call is, say, vendors. So a vendor is a wedding planner,
hair and makeup,
photographers, MCs, bands, anyone that's going to be involved that you're paying to be involved on your wedding day
is a vendor.
And one of the biggest things I can say is for those main people being your hair and makeup, your photographer, your celebrant,
florist,
not even florist so much, MC, those people are really involved in your day in a personal way. In a personal way.
Yep.
So those people you really want to have a connection with.
Definitely.
Especially someone like a celebrant who's going to bring, bring you together as a married couple. If you've got someone who's really staunch and traditional and you guys are all wild,
you're extroverted.
It's not a reflection of you, So pick someone who is going to that you gel with and who is going to listen to you and what's the word?
Well, communicate as well and understand your vision.
Yeah, and adjust
really
to that.
under that. Yeah, and be flexible with that. Yes, yes. And I think it really comes down to intuition and just general vibes, guys. If something feels a little bit off, it probably is. So it's the kind of day that a wedding day is not the day for taking chances. You want to know that every single person in your network is legitimate, is got good reviews, has got good communication. So do your research as well. So I think with researching, don't just look at their Instagram portfolio. Because if you're like me, I've got thousands of people that need to go on my Instagram that I'm still well and truly behind in. So if you were just vetting my work with Instagram, look at Google reviews. Okay. Another key one is communication. So, and I, and I look after generally, like if you're a Glow Studio bride, you would have been talking with me. Communication's quite important. So I think in the wedding industry, it's reasonable to not expect a reply on a weekend.
Yeah,
we're usually working a weekend on a wedding, generally are. But if you email someone, and that's the other thing, I would put everything in writing. I'm very much put everything in writing because then you've got everything date and time stamped. You've got records of when you communicated with that particular vendor. So if you write an email and you don't get a response for 4 to 5 days, to me, that's not acceptable. I understand life gets in the way, but I think if you are working in the wedding industry, you should really prioritize your communication. So for me, I like to say 24 hours on a weekday. And even then I really try and keep it to 12. Yeah. But I've got young children.
I think 2 business days is allowable.
Is 2 business days is within reason.
Before you have to go.
Hang on a minute. And if you're having to chase up people and you're having to follow up emails and stuff, potentially that could be a possible red flag. And again, if they're late replying to you, could they potentially be late on the wedding day? Possibly.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? It's
another good indicator. It's very standard in the wedding industry to take deposits. Very standard. If someone is saying, "Oh, I don't really need a deposit," okay, well, what's going to guarantee that they're
actually going to show up?
That they're going to show up. How do I know that they've locked in my date? All that sort of stuff. We've had that before.
We have.
Certain vendors pull out in the last minute because they're, I didn't get your booking, or I don't remember that, or blah, 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 blah. Like, it does happen.
It does happen.
And you don't want that. Money, so what it's about, it's about building almost like a support network for yourself on your wedding day. Yeah. People that you can go, I need this, or...
People that you can, and that you trust.
Yeah.
And that you have a relationship with as well, like you said it beautifully with the celebrant. Like don't pick someone really stale and quiet if you're very extroverted, or maybe that's what you want. Maybe that is. Maybe you're like, hey, we guys, like if you're like me and you're pretty intense. Maybe you want someone to kind of just chill you out a little bit.
But don't be afraid to go, I'm not sure if we're a good match, because it is a big day.
Exactly. If something feels off, really stick and listen to your gut.
Yeah. Things like florists, yes. But they have what I'm trying to say is that they have a less crucial emotional role on that day.
Yes.
Whereas
they're
us.
not so much a service.
Yes.
Florists
they
kind
are
of
too.
A service, but
Yeah, we don't want to be biased towards anyone.
No, we don't. No, but you also need to understand, like even with your florist, you want to make sure that when you give them your vision, because often it is a vision with florals, florals, isn't it? It's not it's not I want that flower, 2 of them, 1 of them. It's I want my bouquet to look like this. So making sure that they understand what your vision is, giving them
should be
loads
asking you
of
lots of questions.
Yes, they should be, and that communication needs to be open. And if you're really straight, if it's like really, drawing blood out of a stone, trying to get a reply back from them, to me, that would be a bit of a clear indicator to say, oh, look, maybe I'll find somebody else for this,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, it just could cause issues. We've seen it cause issues before. So when you come to choosing your vendors, you want to be looking at their work. You can do that via social media channels or via their website. You also want to be looking at their Google reviews, and you want to be judging them based on the character that you have with that person as well. And I think if those 3 things tick and you're like, nah, this feels really good, then you can be pretty sure you've picked the right people.
100%. And use Google.
Oh, for checklists and things?
Checklists and all that sort of stuff. Like there's resources.
Canva, Pinterest. A lot. We have checklists upon checklists thanks to Mills
They just
here.
pop out.
Yeah, she gets overwhelmed and writes lists. But it's awesome. I'd be lost without her. So, definitely Google where to start planning my wedding, and you'll be surprised because
blogs, all sorts of stuff will come out the wazoo. There's no reason for you to be overwhelmed. But I think if you can all bring it back to that, what are our values and what is going to be a reflection of us as a couple?
That's right.
Then you're not going to regret.
That's right.
Like one thing I love that my husband and I did was we had about 250 people at our reception.
Yeah.
But
big wedding.
When we're talking like 10 years ago now. But it was very casual. But I wanted all my cousins there. I wanted all those little people running around and all that sort of stuff. It was I didn't need all the big food and the this and the that. I just wanted everyone to be there. That's what was important to us.
That's right.
And I feel like that was a reflection of our day.
That's right.
It was very relaxed, very casual.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas someone else would go, oh,
I don't want 1,000 children there.
yeah, exactly. No, thank you.
I can't think of anything worse. Whereas for me, like the first time I got married, we had an American, my ex-husband and I still on very, very good terms. One of my greatest friends. And we had an old American Cadillac car, and that car was his absolute pride and joy. He would have married that if he had the choice to. So we actually got a cake made in a Cadillac, right? All the way down to we're cat people. I'm a cat person. We had little. This was before we had children, but little cat figurines and things, right down to the
eye colours of the cats.
eye colours of the cats
sorts.
was true to them. Like to us, it was important to honour the vehicle. And I know that sounds strange, but car people will get it. Car people will understand. So, and we didn't want just a boring cake. We wanted the cake to be cool and different and unique and something that people were like, wow. And it was such a show-stopping. It was just spectacular. So that was important to us. And also, we were farmy people. We were living in acreage, so we wanted to have a farm type wedding, That was important to us. So those are the things that we picked first.
Yes.
And hair and makeup was extremely important to me, obviously being in my background, and I booked Velbella. And then I bought the business years later, so what do you know? But, not plugging myself there. But, yeah, so those things were really important to us.
And becoming clear on
what they are.
At the beginning, and you won't have any dramas.
And use Google, utilise all of the checklists that thousands of other people have made. If in doubt, reach out to us. We've got heaps of checklists as well. We can point you in the right direction if you get really lost. We've also got a bunch of key vendors that we've worked with in the past that we absolutely love. So if you head to our website, Glow Studio by Velbella, click on the vendor tab, you'll have access to all of the vendors that we've worked with that we highly, highly recommend. We've worked with many, many, many others, but these are our handful of people that we go, I just love you and I can't fault your work. So check those out.
100%.
If that helps you.
100%.
Yeah. We're not affiliated or endorsed in any way. They're just straight out our information to yours.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And the last thing I really want to bring up into that planning section is picking your bridal party people.
Oh, yeah, that's an important one.
Because it's something that you go, oh, okay, I have this, and this person. But what you should really consider is, okay, so you've asked 3 bridesmaids. Are they going to pay or am I going to pay? Because that's going to be a big chunk of your costs.
Oh, yeah.
If you're paying as a bride,
absolutely.
if you're paying, then that's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
But then I also want you to consider your expectations on your bridesmaids as well, from a financial sense, because we've seen it very often too. And I've even been involved in weddings where it's like, oh, you have to spend X amount on this dress because it's this much, and before you know it, you're like $2,000 in the red, and you're like, that's expensive.
And
It's
people have
money.
Yeah, you might think I'm an ex-bank manager of 7 years. You might think you might understand someone's financial position based on what they tell you, but it will often be a very different story. So don't ever assume that people have the money to spend for your day. You're absolutely well in your rights to ask them, oh, would you mind helping me out buying the dress and the shoes and paying for your own hair and makeup? But maybe you give them a little bit of say in that. So maybe you say, I would just really love a navy blue dress. And then the bridesmaids can all get together. They can research to their little heart's content, work out what they can afford, then come back to you with a short list. Say, hey, bride, here's 5 dresses that we've picked out. What do you reckon? Pick your favourite. And then go from there. So just giving them a little bit of leeway if you're going to ask them to pay. The other thing too, and look, this might be a little controversial, but picking the right people who are going to make the day enjoyable. Now, you may think that you need to have your sister there because she's your sister. and this is not a shot at my sister, I love her to death, but, you know, maybe your sister causes a lot of stress, or maybe you guys butt heads big time. Well, maybe, just maybe, you don't want to have her as a bride.
Maybe she would be a great MC for the wedding.
Exactly. Or maybe she could be a bridesmate instead of a bridesmaid. You know, you could have her somewhere in the party or sitting in the front row. But if you're like, you know what, we're just going to butt heads. We're going to fight about this. We're going to fight about that. Don't have them on in your bridal party. If it's really going to if it's causing you anxiety thinking about it, it's going to be issues on the day. So don't do it.
Yeah, find them something else that they'll feel special about doing.
Yes.
And that'll be enough for them.
That'll be enough.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. Don't sacrifice what you want. So, yeah, finding that balance of being reasonable with your bridal party.
Yeah.
But then also discussing with your fiancé, what are we going to pay for?
That's right.
You know, because that's always been and some people don't talk about it for ages. It's really strange. Oh, the bridesmaid, I don't know if I'm paying for my dress or if she's paying. It's really awkward. What if she picks something I can't afford? Do I have to start saving? You know, it's that unexpected. You want to take all of that unexpected out.
Give them as much
communication, be open.
Be super open. And the other thing too about the paying and the not paying thing that ties into our job with the hair and makeup, and we do talk about this a little bit in trials, but is if you are a bride, you're like, right, I'm having my hair down. I want Hollywood waves. I want ultra glam makeup, right? But you have got it in your head that the bridesmaids are going to have natural makeup and an up style because you want them to look different to you, right? But you're asking them to pay. Gets a little tricky with us because that then becomes our paying client. So then I'm actually doing a service that they don't want. If they want, because they might want their hair down. So it comes a little tricky for us navigating who our client is because we're receiving the money from the bridesmaid. They want their hair down, but you're the one getting married and you want their hair up. So if you want to have control over their look, you're better off paying for that service.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've seen it happen before.
Exactly. And same thing for a dress. If you're like, I really want that Chanel dress at $600 per person, that's lovely.
That's awesome.
But you don't need that for your wedding and don't expect someone else to. If that's what you really want, that's great, but then you should pay for it.
You should pay for it. Yeah. I think that's reasonable.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just being reasonable within
and respectful.
And respectful,
because you don't want to burn bridges either.
Absolutely not. Yeah, we've seen that happen too. You don't want to destroy your relationship for the rest of your life because of one day. So and really it all comes down to communication.
100%.
Speak it now, speak it before it's too late. Put it all out in the open, be kind with your words, and you'll be surprised. People will pretty much come to the party for your day.
100%. It's your day. And then they'll support you as you're going along the journey as well.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Communication is key in all aspects of getting married and marriage. Take it from me.
Yep.
Yeah. Was there anything else in terms of sort of plan or getting started with planning?
I don't think so.
No.
There's plenty of lists. We've got, if you're one of our brides, you'll receive one of our bride guides, which has got some very rough sort of, I say very rough, sort of checklists in there.
Yes, our ultimate brides get a much more comprehensive guide for your pre-planning or coming out, that 1 month out, 2 months out kind of thing. We do generally give our clients some checklists and things as well that
just to help you along your way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But again, jump into Google.
Yep. Pinterest and Canva. Canva has some great resources. Don't people forget about Canva, but it's great.
They do.
It's really good,
especially for like wedding invitations and all that sort of stuff.
And they do printing stuff now, and
it's really easy.
That's right.
Anyway.
We're not endorsed. No, none of this is endorsed. But I think that pretty much covers it, really.
I think so.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, as I said, if we can help with anything, if you would like to book us for your hair and makeup for your amazing special day, we would just feel ever so privileged and honoured to do that. We would love to be a part of your day. Head to our website, www.glowstudiobyvelbella.com. You can also reach us via email, which is admin@velbella.com. So if you've got any questions at all, if you think that we've missed something that you would like to see us or do an extra episode about, by all means, we just want to share our knowledge with the world. We want everybody to have an amazing wedding day. That is really important to us. Doesn't matter what walk of life you're coming from or where you've been. Everybody deserves to have a beautiful day of celebrating love, and that's what we're here to do, and we want to help make your day enjoyable, special, and memorable forever. So we will see you at the next episode, what to expect on your wedding day from us, a little bit of an insight from our perspective as to what you might expect on your wedding day. But until then, stay safe. God bless. See you soon.
See you later.
Bye.